In this video, we're going to look at the 1 to F lesson on algebraic expressions in real-world contexts. Basically, we're going to look at some word problems. We're going to make expressions and we're going to simplify them. It says algebraic expressions can be used to model or explain real-world contexts. For example, if you buy 3 pieces of chicken that cost X dollars each, a slice of pie for $3 and a drink for $2, then you buy 3 pieces of chicken times X, which is the cost, plus $3 for the pie and $2 for a drink. And then this simplifies down to this. So we're going to be making this first one and simplifying it down. Number 1, a small group of friends go to a movie on Friday night. Each friend purchases a movie ticket that costs $8, a small popcorn that costs $3, and a medium drink that costs $2. If F represents the number of friends that went to the movie, circle equivalent or equal algebraic expressions that represent the total amount of money spent by the group. All right, so I like to think about let's say there is one person, one friend. How much money is going to be spent by that one person? So one person's going to get a ticket, $8, a popcorn plus 3 is 11, and then plus 2 is $13. $13 for one person. Let's say 2 people go. If 2 people go, then I'm going to have all these costs double, which means that this is going to be $26. All right, so when I have F be 1 or 2 in these, I can kind of check that my answers are correct. Okay, so one of them that kind of jumps out at me is this one. And this one looks correct because 13 times 1, 13, remember this has a times dot there, is going to be 13. And 13 times 2 friends is 26. So this looks correct. Next, I need to find another one that's equal to this. And as I start to look, well, this one doesn't look right because there isn't a place to plug in my number of friends. This one up here in the top right, if I plug in 1 plus 11 is 12. That's incorrect. I want to get 13. Let's look at this top left one. Top left one is that I add up all the costs. 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 2 is 13. And then F times this, I can drop the parentheses. Oh yeah, that's equal to the other answer. So this is just another way to say this. That it's going to be number of friends times the total cost. All right, so I'm going to look for another answer that's equal to these. These are unlike terms. I can't combine the F and these, so that's wrong. And these are like terms, and when I add up all of these, it is 13F. All right, so those are my 2 correct answer choices. I can start anywhere I want as I look at this. And again, this stuff over here in yellow is kind of me thinking about it before I look at the stuff that has variables, because it's kind of weird. Number 2, feel free to pause the video if you still need to think about that. Christina is purchasing the following for her nieces: 1 pack of sidewalk chalk that costs $2, 1 bottle of bubbles that costs $1, and 1 bag of chocolates that costs $4. If N represents the number of nieces, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick a couple of numbers, and we're going to test them. If N is the number of nieces, circle equivalent algebraic expressions that represent the total amount of money Christina spends. All right, so for one person, one niece, Christina is going to spend $2 plus $1 is $3 plus 4 is $7. For 2 nieces, Christina is going to buy all that twice, so that's going to be $14. All right, so I need to pick things that match up with this. So for example, this looks wrong because there's no place to plug in N. This one looks correct because 7 times 1 is 7, and 7 times 2 is 14. All right, now that I got this one, I'm going to try to find some other ones. What about this one? 2n plus n is 3n, plus 4n is 7n. Okay, so this one must be equal. So that's another way to say this. So 2 sidewalk chalks, or $2 for sidewalk chalk times the number of people, plus $1 times the number of people that need bubbles, plus $4 for chocolate times the number of people. Let's see if there's another one. This one, I can't combine these, so that doesn't equal that. This one in the bottom right, we have not distributed variables to variables, so I think that's not going to work. Let's try this one. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 4 is 7. So n times 7, oh yeah, that's equal to the other one, so that's also correct. All right, so we found 3. And then now we're going to move on to ones that are not multiple choice. Number 3, a salesperson gets a base salary of $300 per week. So base salary means like the starting amount, plus $20 for each item he sells. So that means that we could even kind of make a table. If this person sells one item, this person's going to make $300 plus the $20, which is $320. If this person sells 2 items, they're going to get $300 plus 20 and 20, which is $340. All right, and actually we're almost to 3 items. So 3 items is going to be 3 items times $20 plus the base salary, or the flat amount, of $300, which equals a grand total of $360. This person's going to make $360. What about 0 items? We can even think of this as like a table. So 0, this person's not going to get the 20, but they are going to get the 300. Okay. C, if you do not know the exact amount of items he sells in a week, explain in words how to determine the total amount of money he would make. So what did we do? We can kind of think about like A and these other ones. So we take the number of items times $20 plus $300, which is the base salary. So we're just explaining our thought process from part A, which then leads us to our little equation, or technically expression. If X is the number of items, write an algebraic expression that represents the total amount of money that the salesperson had at the end of the week. So if this person sells X items, or let's say 2 items or 3 items, what do? Well, we're going to multiply by 20, like we did here. In this case, it was 3 was X. And then we added 300 plus 300. The only difference between A and D is we're kind of organizing our expression like this. And we're looking for expressions that look like the expressions that we've seen in this module. E, how would the expression change if the salesperson earned $40 per item? So which number would change? Well, this person's actually going to make more per item, so it's going to be now 40x plus 300. For the expressions written in problem number 3, variable x represents the number of items sold, and this is our unknown quantity, our variable. And we can also go back and kind of double check stuff before we move on to the last page, which is if we plug 2 into this, 20 times 2 is 40 plus 300 is 340, which is what we got up there.